Hello, once again we are back with our mask. So I've got some paper mache bits soaking in the glue, and I'm going to put another layer on this thing, and we're going to continue with the sculpture. As you see, I've got my teeth here in place. I decided to leave them very dingy and off-white to look like some monster teeth. Now you're starting to see my vision come together a little better. You see that these teeth are all snaggled, and I've got a lot of variety here, so there's a lot of movement, a lot of different size teeth, and they're very random, and so there's a lot of rhythm and movement in these teeth, and that's what I'm going for. So today I want to create the mouth, and I want to put extra layers over this so that I can sand it, and then it will be pretty well complete all up to the painting. So I may put some more, I may elaborate on these bloody tears. I don't know, we'll see. I do not know yet. We'll just have to see what I want to do. But this is going to be a work in progress. So today's agenda, everything gets another coating, and we're going to build a mouth, and it's going to get a coating as well. So while we've got our hands wet, we're going to go ahead and get everything done all at once. If I were wanting some very geometric shapes and lines on this, I could trace stuff out with a ruler and other devices, and trace it onto cardboard and cut that stuff out, hot glue it in place and mache over it, and make sure I ran my finger down the edges to keep that very flat, geometric, hard, precise edge look wherever I put the things. But this thing is so organic, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick again with a tin foil real quick. The main thing I want to do is show you how to overlap the mouth here. So I'm going to start with a lip, something about like this, and I'm going to compress it down. So I want it to be that, I want it to be about that wide, but I want it to be a lot less thick. We do want it to be kind of thick. It's going to be a big monster lip, but I want it to be somewhat proportional. Ooh, yeah, there we go. So I want this to kind of be maybe flatten out a little. So I'm going to rub this against my table here. So one side I want to run into the mask. I want to kind of flow into the mask, and if I can't get it all with the tin foil, I'll fill in the rest with the mache. So here we go, something like that. We're going to go ahead and put in the little indentation here on the tops of the lip. See if that's roughly about equal. Doesn't have to be perfect, it is a monster. But there we go, I did pretty good. So we've got a basic lip shape here. See if I can't refine it a little on the table. Get a little smoother so it doesn't show up through our mache. Maybe put some shape to it. All right, something like that maybe. All right, so now you'll see when we're done, this thing is going to come right over the teeth, and you're going to see the teeth all coming out from the bottom side. I've used my yellow hot glue again to kind of mimic these ugly gums. You're not going to be able to see much of them once I'm done with the paper mache and everything, but you will be able to see some of it. All right, so I'm thinking something about like that. If I want to, I can use the rest of my tin foil here as a filler to go in behind here. So I can go ahead and hot glue that on first. It's kind of like a seal that goes in between. And once that's glued in, then we can shape it the way we want a little more. We're gonna wait for that glue to dry, and we're just gonna press this into it until we're satisfied. And that'll fill in our gaps and stuff in our mache. So it's almost there. I'm gonna hold back up here underneath so I don't destroy my mask by putting all this pressure on it. All right, now we're gonna come back in, see what we have to do to make this fit. Okay, so I think we're about ready now to glue this in. We still got a little more sculpting to do, but I'm going to do that with the mache. So let's get a little bit of glue everywhere. All right. We've got to be careful with our strings as well. All right, so I'm just going to hold this in place where I like it until it is good. So now I've got a lot of mache here soaked up. So it's good and soggy. So that I can go ahead and start sculpting some of this in. I want to start filling in some of this material here. Maybe I will go ahead and roll this up maybe. Maybe I'll roll it up into a column, which is funny. This is actually called a column. So this right here is Cupid's bow. This right here is your philtrum. And the two ridges on your philtrum are called your philtrum's column, or your philtrum columns, okay? And so your nose kind of flows into your lip, and it goes up to this little peaks on the Cupid's bow here. So this is all one structure here. I'm gonna do another one. Try to find some more soggy pieces here. They're about the same size. I'll roll those up into columns to make my philtrum column. Once again, lead it back here to the nose. Here we go. And once we get that basic shape in there, make sure it flows into those peaks. All right, so now we're good to go start laying mache over this, I think. And we'll just continue until the whole thing is covered in mache. So I will fast forward through this part unless there's something that I want to tell you. One thing I will say real quick, if you notice, I'm laying these in here in diamond shapes because I think that's gonna work better. But I could be wrong. But I just see, you gotta see the layout of everything, kind of see which way it needs to go. So you'll learn to do that over time. Okay, we'll go ahead and fast forward now. So one thing I will stop here, stop the fast forward for a second. I'll say I will lift this lip up to put mache underneath it because I want to make sure it gets really good under there. Okay, I want to make sure that goes under there so that when you're looking at it from any angle, you still can't tell that it's not all flowing from the face like it grew there instead of like it's macheted in place. And you see, I want to go in here and keep my definition I don't want to lose my definition of those parts I built, so I'm going to run my fingers down in there and make sure that stays. Alright, we can go ahead and fast forward again. Alright, so now I have carefully and lovingly folded everything in where I want it, and I've got it looking pretty nice. And see, you know, it's not that I love this mask or I'm in love with it, I just don't believe that you should do anything if you're not going to do it right. So I'm going to take all the effort and everything that's required and do a good job, try to make something high quality, use craftsmanship. So now I'm pretty satisfied with this thing. If you'll notice, I'm using, I'm not using Elmer's glue. So I haven't used Elmer's glue on this thing yet. I'm using something called methyl cellulose. It's the goop that comes out of plant cells whenever you smash them open, I guess. So it's the gooey stuff on the inside. It looks kind of gooey, but it's okay. It's perfectly safe. It is used in food, so you know you might think it's gross, but I bet every one of you have eaten this before. In cheese, in grated cheese and other food products, it's actually used as a food product. So it's actually used in food. And so grated cheese is a great example. This is one I know. They use powdered cellulose to keep the cheese from sticking together. And so it's kind of like, almost like sawdust. So if you ever hear that shredded cheese has sawdust in it, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about the methyl cellulose. It's like a powdered, basically wood. And so, is it good for you to eat? I don't know. If you have stomach issues, that might be why. So if you ever notice when you shred cheese, it looks, it sticks together if you shred it yourself. And it becomes almost unmanageable. Not really, but it does get really sticky. It sticks to itself like crazy. But the stuff in the bag doesn't do that when you buy it from the store. That's why, because it's covered in powdered cellulose. So I'm putting a second layer on this horn. This stuff also is used as a laxative. So if you take like a whole cup of it or more, you can eat this stuff, but it will cause you to use the bathroom quite a bit. So I don't recommend eating it. So I'm going to do my final layer of everything, maybe in glue, in Elmer's glue, because that's the strongest. But this is what I have right now. My supplies haven't come in yet, so I'm using the goop, the plant goop. Alright, so we'll go ahead and fast forward again while I put this second layer on. We'll try to do it maybe ultra fast forward, because you've already seen me do this once. Okay, so that is the next layer in my mask here that I'm making. Is that enough? Are these enough layers? You know, if I were using Elmer's glue, I would say maybe. But since I'm using methyl cellulose, I'm going to guess no, because I want this to be nice and sandable. I want to be able to run a piece of sandpaper over this. So I'll probably have to do one more layer once this dries. And I'll really lay the glue to it so it'll be plasticky. Hopefully by then my order will be in. So you can just kind of look at this a little more from the front so you can see the teeth in action. Ooh, really nice, huh? I used to date a girl that looked like this. Alright, so next time I will probably show you how to make some realistic eyeballs. And so hopefully you guys are seeing how well these can come out and what's possible. There are many ways you can make paper mache for your first layers. I don't recommend this, but you can use flour and water. You can use this methyl cellulose. You can get it probably at a craft store. You know, Elmer's Art Paste is a good brand for this. But I really think Elmer's glue is the best. I ran out of methyl cellulose halfway through. I had to use dolphin tears. So if you have any dolphins, freshly squeezed dolphin tears work really well. But you know, if at all possible, I feel like Elmer's glue is still the best, and it is very durable. So until next time, I hope this helps. I hope you're able to use some of this to your advantage. And I will see you then.